Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Something that we saw a decent amount of back during Warzone 1 was live in-game events. We had this for the nuke event. We saw it for Operation Monarch when we had Godzilla versus Kong on Caldera, which was pretty crazy. And we've started to see sort of a similar trend here in Warzone 2 and MW2 now. Initially, we didn't really have too much going on in terms of events, but we've seen the Path of Ronin, we've seen the Trophy Hunt event now. So we've got some small things in the works, but it does seem like we're starting to trend back towards what we saw in Warzone 1 with maybe some larger events incoming, as recently in game some players have found some very mysterious clues that just so happen to connect to one another very well. I believe it was the Gaming Revolution who actually initially touched on this topic the other day in a video, pointing out that right now on Ashika Island there are several different things indicating that we might be having some kind of map event here in the near future, which curiously enough would add up with some of the leaks that we've seen recently that do say a new Resurgence map is on the way, potentially here in Season 4, which really is only a couple of weeks away in the grand scheme of things. So let's talk what clues are currently in game. Now, a lot of this has to do with some of the lore that DMZ kind of brings to the game. Even on Almaza right now, DMZ and some of the missions that you have to do there that leads you to find certain notes or certain things in game that have various descriptions do tell us a lot about the map. Maybe some secrets that lie underneath, various other things like that. So far, most of it really hasn't amounted to anything too crazy. You know, back on Verdansk, we saw various teases in game with certain things that were updated very discreetly that eventually teased something larger. But so far, we haven't seen any of that come to fruition here in Warzone 2. Keyword being yet. But on Ashika Island, there is one particular journal entry note that can be found, which reads, "Something has attacked the ships and we are now drifting back to the island and slowly sinking. The groaning noises from the ship's hull sound like a monster, or maybe it is a monster. The island won't let us leave. I'm pondering jumping in the water with the masks in my bag." Yes, that is what I am doing. The masks are compelling me to make a swim for it. Here we go. So one, they're kind of giving off like this creepy Ashika Island is like cursed. You can't leave it. The island wants you to stay there. Some Lost type stuff, right? But more importantly, what we want to focus on here is something has attacked the ships and it sounds like it might be a monster. They can't tell if it's the ship groaning and creaking and making noises because it was attacked and sinking, or if there actually is something lurking in the waters surrounding Ashika Island that is making these eerie noises. But then, according to the Gaming Revolution, who was actually exploring around Ashika Island and looking for some particular clues here, there are a bunch of different signs all around the map that indicate that sharks are a major issue on Ashika. There are some be careful of sharks signs in and around the water. Also, on the map, it just so happens that the shipwreck icon that you can see in game, each little point of interest has an icon. The one for shipwreck is actually a shark. So a lot of these things are connecting that there might be some shark attacks happening. It might be some very angry sharks around Ashika Island. Now, just like we had Kong versus Godzilla going on around Caldera back in Warzone 1, this could potentially be teasing the fact that we are going to have some kind of megalodon or shark attack event happen on Ashika Island. Now, I don't think this would be full blown to the extent of Kong and Godzilla walking around Caldera and actually physically landing on points of interest and, you know, crushing the players beneath them and all sorts of stuff like that. But it could actually change the sort of pace of gameplay on Ashika Island, which could be kind of interesting. Like, you straight up wouldn't be able to go into the water. It would make sort of that underground area almost unexplorable unless you were strictly staying to the ledges there, and it could be more of an issue than if you fell into the water. Maybe you get like 3 seconds of a grace period and then you got sharks trying to chase you. Could be kind of interesting. It could be something even crazier if they wanted to go like full on like megalodon. There is a giant shark around Ashika Island and that somehow like destroys part of the map or something like that. But regardless, there are all of these teases now hinting at some kind of like shark event potentially happening on Ashika Island. Again, keyword here is potentially. This is a lot of very convenient clues, all sort of adding up to the same sort of conclusion here, but as of right now, they are just clues. There's no mystery that's been solved yet, all right? But with this all sort of, surfacing now, no pun intended, I do want to talk a bit about the timing here and what this could mean for the potential future of Warzone 2 and the map sort of rotation and cycle here. As we get into this part of the conversation, quick reminder, if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you'll always know whenever something's going down in COD, whether it's news, updates, meta changes, you name it, it's all right here. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys want to see another live event back in Warzone, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated, as it does really help the channel grow. But if this does end up, actually leading to a new sort of in-game event on Ashika Island that has to do with these giant sharks or whatever the case may be, the timing would actually be very convenient given those leaks that say we're going to see this new Netherlands-based Vandal Resurgence map dropping at some point in Season 4, either at launch or with Season 4 Reloaded, right? Which is now just half a season away. We've got Season 3 Reloaded coming up here in early May. May 10th is that supposed release date, and then, next major update would be Season 4 launch. So if this is actually sort of teasing and trying to clue us in on an upcoming event, it could potentially be signaling that we're going to see this map change happen with Season 4, as the leaks would indicate. The thing is, though, with all these major map-based events that we've seen in the past, with the exception of Kong vs. Godzilla, which was more so just like a fun crossover event, things like the nuke event and whatnot were there as transitions to the next map. It was one map replacing the other. Verdansk being replaced with Verdansk 84. Verdansk 84 being replaced with Caldera. We had these major map-based events showing destruction to remove one map and add in a new one. It wasn't just like, hey, okay, this map's done, new one's here. It is what it is. Like, they actually wanted to make it fun and based within a story, which personally I always thought was awesome back in Warzone 1. I feel like Warzone 2 really lacks that lore and really lacks that story, but this could maybe be the start of building something larger here. At the same time, though, we know that back in Warzone 1, they couldn't have Caldera and Verdansk coexisting at the same time because the game just couldn't handle it. They didn't want to have a 700 gigabyte sized game that it would be the only thing you could have installed on your console or on your PC's hard drive, right? So they just never had two main maps at the same time. Now, yes, we ended up seeing Fortune's Keep and Rebirth coexist, which was nice, but that's because they did like major file condensing work to make that actually function towards the end of Warzone 1. But perhaps this year, because we're on this new engine, which is meant to, upgrade the tech there and allow us to have multiple maps at the same time, reduce the stress on the game itself, help with the optimization if we have all these crazy files in the game at once, we wouldn't have to see the end of one map and the transition into a new map, story-based or not, to, see the evolution of the game itself. We could have something happen on Ashika Island that is cool, but maybe for 2 weeks shuts the island down while they clean up, and that's why they introduced the Vandal Resurgence map. And then after those 2 weeks are up, we've got both maps coexisting, right? Could be an interesting way to sort of tie in a story there to actual playlist updates and the introduction of a new map in a way that doesn't result in one being permanently deleted. Frankly, I would be pretty surprised if Ashika Island was removed whenever we do see this new map drop, the Vandal map as it's known in the files according to the leaks. That said, we did only have Fortune's Keep for a couple of seasons back in Warzone 1 before that was removed, obviously, which was still pretty disappointing in my opinion, having a new map drop only for it to be very, very limited in its overall time in the game. But that being said, we've got some very interesting things brewing on Ashika Island and in Warzone 2 right now. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this, see if any new potential teases and clues are added in game. If you guys spot anything, feel free to, tweet at me, drop a comment on the videos. We'll see what comes of it, but definitely some curious things happening there, potentially leading to our first major map-based event. That said, that's going to wrap things up for this one, though. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.